I'm going bananas. That's what I say to my bananas when I leave for a walk. Yeah, I'm giving you a second to laugh at that. Or not, it's okay. My guess is some of us are going bananas about now. We're not used to this type of interruption. We're not used to having our life interrupted this much. So what do we do? What do we do in the middle of this major interruption in our life, this unprecedented interruption? Well, we can get mad, we can get angry, we can get upset, we can be afraid, we can be worried, we can be discouraged, we can be depressed, we can complain, we can criticize. We can buy more ice cream than we'll ever need because ice cream is about the only thing not being limited at the store. Or we can do something different. One day Jesus was walking down the road and there was a huge crowd of people following after him. And there was two men on the side of the road that were physically blind. And they interrupted the crowd. They began to shout and scream out for Jesus. And the crowd, they told him to pipe down, told him to be quiet. And Jesus, he turned to them and said, look, I don't have time for this, you know. I don't know what your problem is, but look, there's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot of things that have to be addressed. I can't just sit here on the side of the road with you. No, that is not what Jesus said. Jesus turned to them and he said, what is it that you want me to do for you? And they said, we want our eyes opened. And in Matthew chapter 20, verse 34, it records what Jesus did. And it says, moved with compassion, he touched their eyes, and they immediately regained their sight and followed him. Jesus didn't get mad. He didn't get upset. He didn't get angry. He didn't complain, and he didn't start criticizing. No, he saw their misery, and he showed compassion. He saw their misery and he helped. And how did he help? Well, he helped by giving them sight. He helped them to see. There's a lot of misery in the world right now. And maybe what we need more than anything else is the ability to see, that we might have eyes to see some answers to this question. And here's the question. How can you show compassion? How can you show compassion to your spouse? How can you show compassion to your parents? How can you show compassion to your kids? How can you show compassion to your politicians? How can you show compassion to your local leaders? How can you show compassion to social leaders and religious leaders and law enforcement leaders? How can you show compassion to your neighbor? How can you show compassion to complete strangers? There are thousands and thousands and thousands of problems in the world right now. And there are thousands and thousands and thousands of questions in the world right now. But there are also thousands and thousands upon 10,000s of ways that God is showing compassion and mercy to the world. And so maybe now in the middle of this major interruption, what we need most is to have our eyes open, to be able to see that even in this social distancing, see ways that we can follow the lead of Jesus and that we can be kind and we can be gracious and we can be patient and we can be merciful, that we could show compassion. Much grace to you.